I want to welcome you back to another episode of What Makes You a Kingdom Kid interviews. This week's guest happens to be one of my closest brothers. His name's Canaan. He has a phenomenal story. He has a huge testimony. We're not going to get all into it just in part one, but this is a two-part series.
Yeah.
But we're going to cover part one for today. But specifically, what we want to talk about today is he's actually a newbie in the Army, and we actually want to cover some of the reasons why he wanted to get into the Army, some of the things that led into that, and some of the experiences that he's already experienced that maybe you can take with you or you can take with a loved one to carry that out in your own personal journey. And I also want to ask him about some things as far as, taking the knee with Colin Kaepernick, and how, his input on that. But without further ado, I want to welcome, this is Canaan, my brother.
How you doing? What up? How you doing, bro?
How we doing today?
I'm alright, I'm living.
So I wanted to ask you, bro, what was the first moment, or what do you say would have been your inspiration in joining the Army, especially in a climate such as this?
So my inspiration to join the Army was back in November of 2017.
Okay.
My father had passed away, and he was a retired master sergeant in the Army.
Wow.
And with that happening and me seeing some stuff like that, it kind of messed me up a little bit. I kind of didn't react too good to it, start doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
Then I just had to take a big look in the mirror and ask myself, like, am I really going to do something with myself? Like, at the rate I was going, like, I really ain't see myself doing nothing too crazy. Like, I always had a good sight, and I feel like I lost sight.
Wow.
I didn't really know what I want to do with myself, and then one day, I heard a knock on the door. It was a recruiter, and I was like, you know what? I could do something with myself doing this, you know what I'm saying?
Recruiters.
Make my dad proud, following his footsteps a little bit, and do something with myself. So then I decided to join the Army.
How would you say your dad's passing affected you in that moment before you even looked to the Army to kind of pay homage to him? Because there's a lot of people who's losing parents and loved ones, and they kind of don't know what to do in their lives. What would you say was your biggest hope, or something you was able to hold on to get you through those moments?
Family. Like, family's everything, honestly. In a time like that, that could really break a family apart, having something tragic like that happening. But I have a good family, and I love my family, and we all love each other, so it made us stronger. We all had each other's backs. So, no one had to go through it alone. We all had each other's backs during that time.
Another question is, would you say that situation and that traumatic event caused you to get distant from God or closer to God? Because some people look at God and they become angry, while others look at God as, you're my only lifeline, I have to hold on to you.
I feel like me personally, having the faith I have, it kind of made me closer. Even though I wasn't doing some of the right stuff, I never lost faith. Like, I knew everything happened for a reason. Like, I knew he was sick. So it was like, even though he had passed, I knew he was in a better place. So I kind of always had gotta look at the bright side of everything, even though he had passed. Like, he's not suffering anymore. So I always kept faith in God, and it got me closer, honestly.
That's a really mature thing. He's under the age of 21, so for all of us millennials and all the people that's his age that's going through things, it's possible for you to have mind over matter. It's possible for you to be more mature than what your peers are. And we just talked about this earlier today, but I wanted to know, because don't get it twisted, my bro, he's popular, everybody rock with him. It's not like he's some quiet, dust off person to the side. Everybody knows him, everybody rocks with him, What gives you the ability to still be, modern and be likable, compatible, but also at the same time your own self? Like, he doesn't follow after anybody. He's not trying to keep up with trends, but yet and still, he still seems like the cool guy. So what would you say makes you stand in your convictions and be who you are without wavering to try to be like other people?
I just kind of be me. Like, my mom always told me, ever since I was born under the lucky star. So I feel like I'm the lucky person in the family, or
That's
just
right.
the bright one. And I kind of feel like I'm just me. Like, I don't do anything to try to please other people. If I could be me and other people rock with it, then cool. But
That's right.
you gotta have confidence in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will believe in you. So it don't matter how other people feel about you. At the end of the day, you gotta be the one making your life decisions, affecting your future, making you whatever you want to be in life. So be you. Do what's best for you, not what other people think's best. Because at the end of the day, all you got is you. Other people, they gonna do them, and they gonna forget about you. But you gotta stay true to yourself. And if they tend to fall under you and like you, then that's cool. But if not, so be it, and move on.
That's a great answer. So with you in the Army now, and you taking on different roles and different compartmentalize in different states of mind. What are some of the strategies and some of the ways that you told yourself going into this, I will not be affected, I will not come out a victim, I will come out a victor? Because a lot of people go into the Army and they come out a victim. I work, with veterans personally, and I see how the whole system, the government system, affects them so negatively. So what are your plans and your goals to achieve a victor's mentality over a victim's mentality?
So if one thing I can say about people joining the Army, it's a lot of mentally challenging stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're in some type of physical condition, you'll make it at least through boot camp.
We spoke about this.
Right. But you have to know who you are and what you believe in, right?
Mm.
So that goes back to my faith in God. I went into basic training. Those drill sergeants, they try to hammer at you, tell you you ain't nothing, you can't be nothing. They try to belittle you, but you got to keep your head high and notice you're human just like me, and I know I can do it. And God knows I can do it. The only person I'll ever bow down to is God. Don't ever bow down to man, because they bleed just like you. And if you have that mindset and you go into it like, I'm going to conquer today, like they can't break me, you know what I'm saying? Like just have a good mindset, have a good outlook. As soon as you wake up early at boot camp, wake up like 4. As soon as you wake up, all right, I'm going to conquer today. Let's get this money. Like what can I do to have a good day? Like, whatever. They smoking you getting paid to do PT. Like just think everything you do is making you better, and you'll make it through it. It's more mental than physical. So I think higher on a mental scale, that gets me through stuff. I always see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
So it's more. So would you say it's more about mentally having stability through Jesus Christ, through God, than to have the physical? Because a lot of people go into thinking, if I'm bigger, if I'm stronger, if I can outlast people, and I know that plays a part, but you're saying it's the mental stability that helps you to overcome the barriers that the Army throws at you.
Because you got to have a solid foundation.
Wow.
Like if you don't have a solid foundation built on God, you'll fall for anything. Wow. And like me, I'm a competitive person too. Like, you'll be looking over and you be like, man, like I'm ready to give up. But then you gonna look to your right and see some dude doing it. And you be like, if he can do it, I know I can do it. So you just gotta think like, I know I can do it. God knows I can do it. I'm going to do it, and you'll do it.
So what are some of the fun times that you can, gently touch on as far as some of the fun things that maybe you weren't expecting to happen in the Army, where now you're like, I didn't realize I was going to meet people, I was going to have this fun? Because there's always an upside, there's always pros and cons. So
exactly, like I said, it's mental, right? So it's what you make it. So I went into it like, I don't know, this is about to be like the worst 10 weeks of my life. Actually, it was some of the best. I actually kind of loved boot camp. Like, I met some real brothers there. Like, I went into it thinking like, I don't know, like these dudes gonna be weird for like Army people. You think they stuck up and stuff. Yeah. I met some people I consider my brothers now, and it's like good to see different cultures and stuff and people there and like
traveling.
Yeah, and it was kind of like some of the funnest times to me, because it was like I was away, I was out. It's like you kind of find yourself, because at boot camp you don't have no phones, you don't only write letters, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're not in the mix of all the social media, you're focusing on the Army and yourself, so you really find yourself, you find some people you click with, and you just, I don't know, I liked it, like going to the range, shooting and stuff, going on ruck marches, I just liked it. It was something different. That
you get different experiences. Yeah. So let me ask you this, now that you were out, of your normal habitat, your normal environment, and brought back in, what are some ways now you have been elevated in your mind? Like when you come back and you say, wow, people are still on this, people are still on that, like my mind is starting to elevate. What would you say are the beneficial components of being able to leave your environment and not necessarily being a product of that environment you grew up in?
So like I said before, you gotta see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So you gotta think long run, right? Wow. So you might, like me, I just graduated high school this year. I'm still 18, I'm young. So sometimes I catch myself thinking young. So I'll be like, man, I'm gonna do my 3 years and leave so I can do yada yada. I'll be like, wait, that's stupid. Like, why would I do that? Right. So when you come back, you're gonna notice there's people doing the same stuff they were doing before you left, right? And then you just gotta really realize, like, you gotta realize like what you're doing, it might be boring, like it might be annoying waking up 3:30 every morning going to formations.
Right now.
But you're making a difference and you're doing what a lot of people can't do, and it's gonna help you in the long run. It builds character. So like when I get annoyed, like man, I should have joined the Army. Like sometimes I gotta think of how it can help me in the long run. And I think in a moment, because the more work I put in at a younger age, the better I'll be as an older age. And this life right now I'm living is temporary, but I want to be financially stable, have my kids stable, you know what I mean? So I put the work in now, try to get my degree and do all I can now so that I can kick my feet up and relax when I'm later in my life.
That makes so much sense because, in other words, what my bro is saying is that when you're in your environment, you feel like you're going to miss out on something. You want to have that instant gratification. But when you're talking out of that element, you're willing to go through the temporary sacrifices for you to have the long-term gratifications. And a lot of people don't know how to live like that in this moment, so they struggle with that a lot. But I want to ask if you can talk to anybody who maybe is thinking about the Army, or they're second guessing it, or there's some parents who saying, you know, I would let my kid go into the service, but this and that. What are some things that you would tell them to do that are good, and maybe some things that they should be worried about?
So things I'll touch on the things you should be kind of worried about, because I like the Army. There's a lot of good stuff too. I'm not gonna sit here and bash it at all.
Right.
So some of the things, do some research yourself. You know,
Wow.
Your recruiters, I ain't gonna sit here and say they lie to you, but
they don't give
they
you all
tell
the
you
facts.
they tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you want to hear. So do your own research.
Right.
You probably know some people in the Army. Talk to them. You know, you can always. He'll probably drop my name down in my contact information.
We'll put his information
you can,
down.
Talk to me.
You can
I haven't
contact
been
him
in long
direct.
at all, but I could tell you about TradeOc at least.
Yeah.
And so do your own research and see if that's something you really want to do, because it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. That's the most important thing. And good things about it, you really, I would say, pick a job that you want to do. Like, don't join the Army. If you know you want to shoot guns and stuff, then pick a job that's more combat-like. Do what's going to be best for you, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Don't pick some type of Black Hawk engineer job if you know you really don't want to work on it, but it sounds cool and you think you get a job working on planes later. Like, do what you want to do. That's what I would tell you, because it's going to enhance your Army experience. And also, if you think about joining it and like, you know, you don't have anything else to really do, like you're not getting a lot of scholarships for college, like if you got something set up for you, I would say take that route.
Right.
But if you really don't see a lot going, not going for you, but
if you have no other plans or ideas on what
this
to
is
do,
not a bad
it's
idea
beneficial
at all.
for you.
Exactly. You build your resume, you know, you get they get funding for college, like it kind of builds character. You'll meet a lot of people. You go through a lot of sucky stuff, but
come on,
you don't want no stories to tell, right?
Right.
You're gonna have some stories to tell, like, and you're gonna say you did something that a lot of people are scared to do, and a lot of people don't do. So
I have a few more questions, and then I want to wrap this up. But I wanted to ask, do you believe it's possible to find your purpose in the Army? Like, if you're someone who says, I don't know what I'm on earth for, I don't know what's going on, do you feel like God is able to reach people in that Army environment and be able to help them discover their purpose, even if it's outside of the service? Or do you feel like if you're looking for your purpose, do not join the Army?
No, I feel like if you're looking for your purpose, join the Army, because that was my problem, right? A lot of people don't know their purpose and they think college is the only way. That's what people tell you, right? So you go to college, you don't know what you want to study, then you end up dropping out of something if you don't like it, or say you do make it and you major in something that can't get you no job, then you in all these debts. I feel like the Army's good because it pays you. You should be debt free. You won't have to pay for dental insurance and none of that, right? So if you manage your money, your time right, literally you could just find yourself. Like, you get taken out your comfort zone for the most part a lot in the Army. And sometimes what you think is your comfort zone, and when you get taken out of it, you might like it, right? So you might think you like something, but a whole another experience will happen that will change your perspective on what you like. So,
and you grow as a person.
Exactly.
So it allows for you to grow as a person. Do you think that you would have grown as much as you have if you would not have taken that experience?
No, I don't. I feel like I'd have been doing some of the same stuff your average 18-year-old is doing. But when you're 18 and making grown-up decisions and waking up at 3:30 every morning, and like you're always accounted for, and you got to take that responsibility, and you know
builds character.
Yeah, you know that once you're wearing this, like there's a target on your back and everyone's watching. It kind of forces you to kind of do the right thing most of the time.
I just want to, not to cut you off, I just want to give a small testimony. I'm so happy for my brother. I picked him up. Me and him planned this for months. I picked him up from the airport. We did Operation Getting Mom Flowers. We did Operation Popping Up on Family, Moms, Dads. I'm so excited for him. Everywhere we went, they said, thank you for your service. And me working, with the veterans, I always thank them for their service. But to see such a young man with a bright future and he has God in his heart, I just want you to express to them the importance of having God in this situation.
Like, I feel like God get me through a lot because it's a simple thing of keeping faith. Like, a lot of stuff get hard and you start to question a lot of stuff. Like, sometimes it'd be like, why not just go to college or something? And I'd be like, wait, God put me here for a reason. There got to be a reason why I'm in the Army and I'm not in college or not doing what a lot of 18-year-olds are doing. There got to be a reason why I stepped outside my comfort zone of what I wanted to do and did this. So I just kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. and try to make the best decisions I can, and I do my best and let God do the rest. So I kind of build a lot of stuff off my foundation of God.
Do you read? Because I told him I was going to get him a devotional book to go back. Do you ever read the Bible or spend some time personally just with you and God to help cultivate that mindset?
Yeah, see, I always believed in God, but I really wasn't like a huge reader of the Bible. I'm still not a gigantic reader of the Bible. I need to work on that.
We're all trying to get better.
But one thing I did start doing was like reading a little bit more, especially like in basic, when they start to play with you mentally and stuff.
Wow.
And physically it gets challenging. Sometimes you need that, or just to reflect. So yeah, it kind of did bring me a little closer with God.
Okay, so for the last question of part 1, we have a part 2 coming up too. But for the last question of part 1, I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion and what's your stance on the Colin Kaepernick and the taking the knee? Because not only are you an athlete, because he was an athlete, an excellent athlete in football, he did a lot of good things and accomplished a lot of accolades. But I wanted to ask, what is your personal stance on Colin Kaepernick and taking a knee? And if you were in the NFL, would you take that knee, or would you play and show your support in a different avenue or different, dynamic?
I'm kind of split here. So a lot of people, you kind of have to be open-minded to me to kind of see this view or experience some of the stuff that some of us have experienced.
Okay.
So from like a black male perspective, I don't disagree with what he did, but I do. So I feel for the part where he's standing for what's happening to us young black males in America is not right.
Direct.
So taking a knee, I feel like is appropriate, but not during the national anthem, to me at least, being in service. Because at first I was kind of like, I feel for him, right? But then like once I joined the Army and I started to realize that freedom really isn't free. And a lot of people die in his uniform, and we go through a lot. Like, we'll be on ruck marches, and I'll be thinking, like, your shoulders are burning, your feet got blisters and stuff, and you're doing this just so people can sleep calm at the house. So, like, while you're doing this so your so your friends back at home can play Xbox, you know what I mean? So I kind of felt like maybe not doing the national anthem just because of the respect of the service members who died for it.
Right.
As the overall, like, what he did, I don't feel like was totally wrong, but just the timing.
His opinion and that was his way of making a political.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it during the national anthem. Maybe like during another part.
You might do something else to support.
Right.
And there was actually a time where Colin Kaepernick, he would just sit down, but he actually was written by somebody in the service who asked him, and they felt the way he felt, which is, why do you sit down and be so disrespectful? And what Colin Kaepernick said was, X, Y, and Z, because the police brutality, the attention he was trying to draw towards that. Well, the man recommended that he no longer sit down, but that instead he would take a knee. Because I was told that in the Army or in the service, when someone loses their life, you don't just sit down disrespectfully. What you do is you bow down and you take a knee to give them reverence and to pay them honor and respect. So what Colin Kaepernick did was he said, I'm not going to sit down anymore. I'm actually just going to take a knee to show the honor and respect of all the lost black boys who are being shot and killed with police brutality, just to give a little bit of background on that. But I want to thank Canaan for being here today. I want to thank him for his insight. I know so many people, young, old, it doesn't matter. You can be 80 or you can be 8 years old, will benefit from this interview. This is only part 1. Part 2, we're going to get a little bit more deep into his love life, into, a little bit more things about his past and certain things that my baby brother overcame.
Yeah.
And we're going to tap a little bit more into his business. But I wanted to make this interview something that, was Army-based and service-based. And I have another question really quickly about Trump. And I want to ask, do you think that Trump, even with all the shenanigans going on, I know a lot of people are Democrat, Republican, do you think that he has his best interests when it comes to, or that he has his best, he has the best interest for people that are in the service? Or do you feel like there are certain things that could, he can better in those areas? And no one's perfect. I'm not jumping on him, not jumping down his throat. We all can love him or hate him for our own personal reasons. I happen to play neutral, and I just wanted to get my brother's, perspective on that.
I'm not a political savvy or anything like that. I'm not really going to throw a lot of political view into it because of my position in the Army. But one thing I can say is that if he gives us a command, I'll execute. That's one thing I'll say.
Well, then we heard that. We got it right. So I want to thank you again, brother. I love you. I ask you guys to please, please, please keep my baby brother in prayer. This is my brother. I love him. And stay tuned for part 2. And we want to say over and out, Kingdom Kids, stand up.
Let's go.
Can't stand up.
Yeah.
Peace out.
One love.